It was a cold, rainy night. The city lights blinked through the fog and water ran down the dirty streets. People walked fast, holding umbrellas, jackets, and shopping bags. No one stopped. No one looked around. But in a small corner near a trash bin, a woman sat alone. She wore a torn coat, her face was wet, and her hands held tightly onto her round belly. She looked scared. She looked like she was in pain. She cried quietly, hoping someone would stop. No one did. Except one boy. He wore an old, oversized hoodie. His shoes had holes. His face was thin and his eyes were tired. His name was Leo, and he was only 12 years old. He had no family, no home. He slept in an alley behind a bakery. During the day, he looked for scraps, bottles, cans, and leftover food. At night, he hid under a cardboard box and tried to stay warm. That night, while searching for food, Leo saw the woman. At first, he thought she was just another person sitting on the street, but when he saw her belly and the way she was holding it, he knew something was wrong. He walked closer. "Miss," he said softly. The woman looked up fast, fear in her eyes. "I won't hurt you," Leo said. "Are you okay?" She didn't answer. She only hugged her belly tighter. Leo looked around. Still, no one stopped. Cars passed. People walked. The rain fell harder. He reached into his dirty backpack and pulled out a half-eaten sandwich wrapped in paper. It was all he had. He also pulled out a small, thin blanket, wet but still warm. "Here," he said, putting the sandwich beside her. "You can have it, and this too." The woman looked at the food, then at Leo. "No," she whispered. "You need it." "I already ate some," Leo lied. "Please take it." She didn't move for a long moment. Then, slowly, she took the blanket and the sandwich. "Thank you," she whispered. "What's your name?" "Leo," he said. "What's yours?" The woman looked away. "Sarah." "Are you hurt?" Leo asked. She shook her head. "Just tired," but Leo could see she was in pain. Her face was pale. Her hands shook. He didn't know much about pregnant women, but he knew something was wrong. "You need a doctor," he said. "No," she said quickly. "No hospital." "Why not?" Leo asked. She didn't answer. Leo sat down near her, careful not to scare her. He took out an old toy from his bag, a small wooden car. He held it in his hand and looked at her. "Where's your family?" he asked. She didn't speak. Her lips trembled. "Mine left me when I was little," Leo said, looking at the toy. "They said they'd come back, but they never did." Sarah looked at him, surprised by his calm voice. "I waited," Leo continued. "At first I waited, under the bridge, then at the shelter, but no one came." He looked at her belly. "Your baby's lucky. At least she still has you." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She touched her stomach softly. "I didn't want her to grow up in a world like this," she whispered. Leo looked around. The rain was still falling. "Come with me," he said. "I know a place. It's not much, but it's dry." Sarah hesitated. "I won't touch you," Leo said. "I promise you can leave if you want, but it's better than sitting in the rain." After a long pause, Sarah nodded. Leo helped her stand. She moved slowly, holding her belly. She winced with every step. They walked through the wet streets, past closed shops and sleeping dogs. Finally, they reached a narrow alley behind a bakery. A piece of old cloth covered the doorway of an empty storage room. Leo pulled it open. Inside, it was dark but dry. A few cardboard boxes were stacked in the corner. A broken chair lay on its side. In the far corner was Leo's sleeping spot, a pile of newspapers and an old sleeping bag. "It's not much," Leo said, "but at least the rain can't get in." Sarah sat down carefully, leaning against the wall. Leo gave her the rest of his blanket. "You can rest here," he said. "I'll stay outside if you want." Sarah shook her head. "It's okay, just stay near." Leo nodded. They sat in silence for a while. Then Sarah said quietly, "You're just a child. Why are you helping me?" Leo looked at her. "Because no one helped me." Sarah turned her head away and cried softly. Leo didn't say anything. He just sat beside her, holding his wooden car. Outside, the city kept moving, but inside that small, forgotten place, two strangers, both broken and lost, found a little bit of warmth, and neither knew that their meeting would change everything. Morning light slipped into the small storage room where Leo and Sarah rested. The rain had stopped, but the ground was still wet and cold. Sarah sat with her back against the wall, her arms wrapped around her big belly. Leo was nearby, pretending not to be tired, though his eyes kept closing. "Did you sleep?" Leo asked softly. Sarah shook her head. "Not much." "The baby kicked all night." Leo gave her a small smile. "Maybe she wants to play." Sarah looked at him, then looked down. She was quiet for a long time. Leo sat cross-legged on the floor and took out a crushed cereal bar from his pocket. "You can have it," he said. "I saved it from yesterday." Sarah looked at the bar but didn't take it. "I'm not hungry," she whispered. Leo didn't believe her. He knew the look of hunger. He had seen it in mirrors and on other homeless kids. Still, he didn't push her. He left the bar on a small box beside her. Sarah pulled the blanket tighter around her. Her hair was messy, her face pale. But there was something about her. She looked like she didn't belong on the street. Leo wanted to ask more questions but didn't want to scare her, so he waited. A few minutes passed. Then Sarah finally spoke. "Why are you out here alone?" Leo looked at his shoes. "I used to live in a shelter. Before that, a foster home, but they didn't like me much, said I was too quiet. One day I ran away." Sarah nodded slowly. Quiet kids carry heavy hearts. Leo didn't know what that meant, but he felt it. Then he asked, "What about you? Why are you out here?" Sarah froze. She looked at the floor and didn't answer. After a long silence, she said, "Sometimes. Home is the most dangerous place." Leo's eyes widened. "Did someone hurt you?" Sarah didn't speak. Her eyes filled with tears. She took a deep breath. "I had everything once," she said. "A big house, nice clothes, even a car with a driver. But none of it mattered, because I wasn't safe." Leo listened carefully. He didn't understand everything, but he knew what fear sounded like. Sarah wiped her tears and looked at him. "My name. It's not Sarah." Leo blinked. "Then what is it?" "I can't tell you," she said. "Not yet." Leo was confused. "Why?" "Because if anyone knows I'm here, they'll come for me. For the baby." Leo felt a chill run down his spine. Who would come for a pregnant woman? Sarah looked away. Someone powerful. Someone who thinks he owns everything. Even people. Leo thought for a moment. "Is it your husband?" Sarah didn't answer, but her silence said yes. Leo's hands clenched into fists. He was just a boy, but something in him wanted to protect her. She had nothing, just like him. But still, she was trying to protect someone smaller. Her baby. Leo stood up. "You're safe here. I won't tell anyone." Sarah looked up at him, surprised by his strength. "You're a good boy, Leo." "No," he said. "I just know what it feels like to be alone." Later that day, Leo left the alley to find food. He searched behind shops, near bins, and behind restaurants. He got a few cold fries, a half-eaten burger, and a clean water bottle. When he returned, Sarah was sitting quietly, her hand on her stomach. She smiled weakly when she saw him. "You're back," she said. "I told you, I don't break promises." They in silence. The baby kicked again and Sarah winced. Leo looked worried. "You sure you don't need a doctor?" Sarah shook her head quickly. "No, no hospitals." "But why?" he asked again. "If I go there, he'll find me." Leo didn't ask more. He could see the fear in her eyes. That night, the city felt even colder. Leo gave Sarah his sleeping spot and curled up near the doorway. He didn't sleep much. He kept listening, watching, protecting. In the middle of the night, Sarah whispered, "Thank you." Leo didn't reply, but his eyes were open. And he heard her. He thought of her real name. He wondered who she really was. Why was a rich man's wife hiding in a dirty alley? And what would happen when the truth came out? Because somewhere in the city, someone was already looking for her, and he was getting closer. The sky turned gray. Again. Clouds gathered above the city like a warning. Cold wind blew through the streets. Inside the small storage room, Leo and Sarah sat close, wrapped in silence and fear. Sarah looked weaker today. Her face was pale. She touched her belly again and again, trying to calm the baby inside. Leo noticed it. "Is the baby okay?" he asked. Sarah nodded slightly. "She's strong, but I'm scared." Leo gave a small smile. "She's like you, brave." Sarah didn't reply. Her eyes filled with tears. She quickly wiped them. Leo wanted to help, but he didn't know how. He was just a 12-year-old homeless boy. But still, he felt responsible. For her, for the baby. Somewhere else in the city, a black car stopped outside a tall glass building. A man in a black suit stepped out. His name was Victor Hale, a rich businessman and the most powerful man in town. His eyes were cold. His face was hard. Inside his office, a group of people waited for him, lawyers, police officers, and private guards. Victor slammed a photo on the table. "Find her," he said. "Find my wife." "She's pregnant, sir," one guard said. "She can't have gone far." Victor's hands tightened into fists. "She's carrying my child. She belongs to me." The room went quiet. "She has no money, no friends. She won't survive long." "On the streets," Victor said. "Check the shelters, check hospitals, pay whoever you have to." One man dared to ask, "Should we bring her back or inform the police?" Victor's eyes turned sharp. "Bring her back." Quietly, beckoned. The alley. Leo came back from searching the streets. He had found a small loaf of bread and an apple. Sarah smiled weakly when he offered it. "You're always bringing food," she said. "Where do you find it?" "Behind the bakery. Sometimes people throw out good things." "You shouldn't have to do this," Sarah said. "I don't mind," Leo said. "You're the only person who talks to me like I matter." Sarah looked away. Her lips trembled. Then she asked, "What if someone finds me? What will they do?" Leo sat beside her. "No one's finding you, not while I'm here." "But what if it's him?" she whispered. "What if Victor finds me?" Leo finally heard the name. "Victor?" he asked. "Is he your husband?" Sarah nodded slowly. "He owns half the city. His smile looks kind, but his heart is dark. He controls everything. Did he hurt you?" Sarah didn't answer, but the look in her eyes was enough. That night, Leo didn't sleep. He sat at the door of the storage room, watching every sound, every shadow. His mind raced. He had no money, no phone, no way to fight a rich, dangerous man. But he knew the streets. He knew how to hide. And he wouldn't let Sarah or her baby get hurt. The next morning, a strange man in a clean jacket walked. Down the alley, he had a picture in his hand. He stopped near the bakery and asked a shopkeeper, "Have you seen this woman?" The shopkeeper shook his head. "No, don't know her." But Leo had seen him from the corner, hidden behind a trash bin. Leo watched. He saw the photo. It was Sarah. His heart raced. He ran back to the storage room. "Sarah," he whispered loudly. "They're looking for you." Sarah sat up fast. "Who?" "A man with your photo. He's asking around." Sarah's hands shook. "He's here." Leo helped her up. "We have to move." "But I can't run fast," Sarah said. "What if I—" "You won't have to run. I know another place. It's under the bridge. No one goes there." Sarah nodded, but her legs were weak. Leo grabbed her arm gently. "Lean on me." And just like that, the 12-year-old boy became her only shield from the world. They stepped into the morning light. Sarah's heart beat fast, not just from fear, but from hope. Because for the first time, someone was standing beside her, not because of money, not because of power, but simply because he cared. The morning air was cold and sharp as Leo and Sarah slowly made their way through the city. Sarah's steps were heavy. Her hand stayed on her belly, trying to calm the baby kicking inside. Leo held her arm tightly. He led her through quiet streets and back alleys. He looked behind every few minutes, worried that someone might be following them. "We're almost there," he whispered. They reached an old, broken bridge on the edge of the city. Underneath it was a dry concrete area, filled with trash, old blankets, and cardboard shelters. This was where Leo sometimes slept when the storage room was too dangerous. "It's not pretty," he said, "but it's safe." Sarah looked around and slowly sat down against the wall. Her body trembled from cold and fear. Leo covered her with the blanket and gave her the last of the bread. "Eat this," he said softly. "I'll find more later." Sarah took a bite, her eyes still watching the shadows around them. "Leo, do you think he'll find me?" Leo shook his head. "Not here. No one comes here." Meanwhile, Victor Hale sat inside his black car talking on his phone. "You said she was spotted." "Near a bakery," he growled. "Yes, sir. But the boy helped her escape," said the guard. "A boy? A homeless kid around 12 years old. He's protecting her." Victor's eyes darkened. "Find them both. I don't care how." He ended the call and stared out of the window. "No. One runs from me," he whispered to himself. "Especially not her." Back under the bridge, Sarah tried to rest, but the pain in her stomach was growing. Her baby kicked more often now. She touched her belly and whispered, "It's okay. Mama's here." Leo sat nearby, watching her with worried eyes. "Is it supposed to hurt this much?" he asked. Sarah nodded. "Yes, but not this early." "Is the baby coming?" Sarah didn't answer right away. "I don't know," she said, "but I feel something's not right." Leo stood up. "I'll find someone. Maybe a kind nurse or someone who can help." "No," Sarah said quickly, grabbing his hand. "No hospitals, no names, promise me." Leo paused. He didn't want to leave her like this, but he couldn't just sit and do nothing. "There's an old lady," he said slowly. "She lives near the train tracks. People call her Granny May. She helps street kids when they're sick." Sarah looked unsure. "Can we trust her?" Leo nodded. "She helped me once when I had a fever. She didn't ask questions." Sarah closed her eyes and nodded. "Okay, go, but come back soon." Leo ran off, his small feet splashing through puddles and mud. He ran like his life depended on it. Near the train tracks, Granny May was feeding stray cats when Leo arrived. "Granny," he shouted, "please, I need your help." The old woman turned around, her eyes kind but sharp. "What's wrong, boy?" "There's a woman. She's pregnant. She's hiding under the bridge. She's in pain." Granny May didn't ask who or why. She picked up her old medicine bag and nodded. "Lead the way." Back under the bridge. Sarah was breathing hard, holding her stomach. "The pain was worse now, Leo," she whispered. "Please hurry." Her eyes filled with tears. Fear and pain danced in her chest. She couldn't run anymore. She couldn't hide anymore. Then she heard footsteps, but they weren't Leo's. Two tall men in black coats appeared near the bridge. They looked around slowly. Sarah covered her mouth, trying not to breathe too loud. She slid behind a concrete wall, heart pounding. "Are you sure she's here?" one of them said. "Boss said the boy brought her this way. Check everywhere." Sarah held her belly tightly, shaking with fear. They were here. They had found her. Just then, Leo returned with Granny May beside him, but he froze when he saw the men. Granny May whispered, "Who are they?" Leo's heart pounded. "They're here for her." Granny May narrowed her eyes. "Follow me, we'll take another way." Leo nodded and rushed under the bridge to find Sarah. "Sarah, it's me. We have to go. Now." Sarah looked up, tears on her cheeks. "They're here, Leo." "I know, but I brought help." Granny May helped Sarah stand. "Don't worry, darling, I've hidden worse from worse." They moved slowly, quietly, through a hidden path under the bridge that Granny May used to hide from the police during her youth. They escaped into the shadows. The men searched for hours, but never found her. That night, Leo and Granny May helped Sarah settle inside a tiny back room behind May's house. It smelled of herbs and old books, but it was warm. Granny May gave Sarah tea and soft blankets. Sarah looked at Leo, her voice weak. You saved me again. Leo shook his head. You're not safe yet. But I won't stop until you are. Outside, the city slept, but danger was still hunting them, because Victor Hale had just raised the reward. And soon, someone would take the money, no matter what it cost. The old back room behind Granny May's house was quiet and warm. For the first time in many days, Sarah felt safe. She lay on a soft mattress, covered with warm blankets, while Leo sat on the floor beside her, watching her. But Granny May boiled water in a kettle, then mixed herbs in a cup. She needs rest and food. The baby might come early. Leo looked at Sarah's pale face. She's strong, but she's scared. Granny May nodded. That man, Victor, he's dangerous. I've heard things about him. Leo's eyes narrowed. He won't find her again, I promise. But Granny May sighed. Boy, promises are good. But money is louder. Meanwhile, in the city, posters with Sarah's photo were being handed out. A bold message was printed in red. Missing pregnant woman. Large reward for information. No questions asked. The reward, $50,000. People whispered. Some became curious. Others became greedy. A man from the alley, a drunk who once saw Leo walking with Sarah, picked up the poster. His eyes widened. I know her, he mumbled. That's the lady under the bridge. Back at Granny May's home, Sarah woke up coughing. Leo rushed to help her sit up. Granny May handed her a warm drink. Your fever's down, she said softly. Sarah managed a weak smile. Thank you, both of you. Leo looked serious. I won't let anyone hurt you. Sarah touched his hand gently. You've already done more than anyone ever has. But their peace didn't last long. That night, while Leo stepped outside to get food, a knock came at Granny May's door. She opened it slowly. A man stood there, drunk and smelly. I saw that woman. She's in your house, he slurred. Granny May's face stayed calm. You saw nothing. Now go. But the man waved. The poster. 50,000, old woman, don't play games. He turned and walked away, grinning. Granny May closed the door fast and locked it. When Leo returned, she told him everything. He's going to tell them, she said. Leo's heart dropped. We have to leave. Sarah, hearing it all, sat up. But where can we go now? Granny May thought hard. I know one place, an old train station. Nobody uses it anymore. We can hide there. Later that night, they packed what little they had. Granny May helped Sarah walk while Leo carried the food and blankets. They moved through the quiet streets, avoiding the main roads. Every shadow felt like danger. Finally, they reached the train station. It was broken and forgotten. Rats scurried in the corners and cobwebs hung like curtains, but it was hidden. And for now, safe. Granny May lit a small fire. Sarah sat down, holding her belly. Her face looked pale again. The baby, she whispered. It's coming. Leo's eyes widened. Now? Granny May nodded quickly. It's early, but we can't stop it. Sarah leaned back, breathing hard. Sweat ran down her forehead. Leo held her hand. I'm here, don't worry. Outside, thunder rolled, rain began to fall, back in the city. The drunk man walked into Victor's office. I found her, he said. She's with an old lady behind the church. Now where's my money? Victor handed him a bundle of cash without a word. Then he gave the photo to his men. Go now. Bring her back. Before she disappears again. Back at the train station. Sarah screamed in pain. Granny May worked fast. Leo, bring more water! Leo ran to the corner where a bucket was filled from earlier. He brought it back, shaking. Sarah gripped the blanket and cried out. Granny May whispered calmly, You're doing great, girl. Just one more push. Sarah cried out, then silence. Then the sound of a baby crying filled the station. Leo's eyes filled with tears. Granny May smiled wide, holding a tiny baby wrapped in cloth. It's a girl, she whispered. Sarah, weak and sweating, reached out. Leo helped her hold the baby. Her eyes filled with joy. She's perfect, Sarah whispered. She's everything. Leo looked at the baby, then at Sarah. She's free now, he said softly. But outside, in the pouring rain, footsteps were coming. Victor's men had found the station, and they were getting closer. Rain crashed against the broken roof of the abandoned train station. Lightning lit the dark sky for a second, then disappeared into silence again. Inside, Sarah held her newborn baby close to her chest. The baby was wrapped in an old cloth, crying softly, her tiny fists waving in the air. Leo sat close beside her, watching with wide eyes filled with joy and fear at the same time. Granny May wiped sweat from Sarah's forehead. "She's a strong one," the old woman said. "Just like her mother," Sarah smiled weakly. "And like the boy who saved us. Both." Leo looked down, shy. "I didn't do much." "You did more than anyone ever has," Sarah replied. But before they could speak more, a sound cut through the night. Crunch, crunch, footsteps, heavy boots stepping on wet gravel. Granny May's smile disappeared. She stood quickly and looked toward the broken station door. "Someone's here," she said. Leo ran to the door and peeked through a crack. 3 men, dressed in black. One of them held a flashlight. The light moved slowly across the empty train. Tracks. Leo's heart started racing. "It's them," he whispered. "They've found us." Outside the station, Victor's men moved like shadows, checking each corner. "Boss said she's here," one of them whispered. "He wants her alive." "And the kid? Bring him too?" They pushed open a broken gate and stepped into the station yard. Thunder roared above as the storm grew louder. Inside, Granny May moved fast. "There's an old tunnel behind the wall," she said. "Used to be for workers." She helped Sarah stand, holding the baby close to her chest. Leo grabbed the blanket and helped Sarah walk. But before they reached the wall, bang! The main door crashed open. Flashlights beamed inside. "There!" a man shouted. "Don't move!" Sarah screamed. Leo jumped in front of her. "Run!" he shouted. "I'll stop them." One man ran toward Leo. The boy picked up a broken stick and swung it hard. It hit the man's arm, causing him to drop his flashlight. Granny May pulled Sarah toward the tunnel door. "Come now!" Leo grabbed a glass bottle and threw it at another man. It shattered on the floor. In the chaos, Granny May opened the tunnel. Dior and pushed Sarah inside. "Leo, come!" she shouted. But Leo didn't move. "I'll keep them busy," he yelled. "Go!" Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "No! Leo, come with us!" But Leo had already run the other way, leading the men away from the tunnel. In the tunnel, Granny May helped Sarah move deeper inside. The tunnel was dark and wet. Rats ran ahead of them and water dripped from the ceiling. The baby cried again. "Shh," Sarah whispered. "We're almost safe." But she kept looking behind her. Where was Leo? Back at the station, Leo ran through the station, knocking over chairs and crates to block the men. He ran up the broken stairs, his small feet slipping on the wet steps. One man followed close behind. "Stop, boy." Leo didn't stop. He reached the rooftop, broken, wet, and dangerous. There was nowhere left to run. The man stepped onto the roof, breathing hard. "Game's over, kid. Where is she?" Leo stood tall, even though he was shaking. "I'll never tell you." The man grabbed Leo's arm. Suddenly, crack, the rooftop gave way. The man screamed as the edge broke. He slipped and fell, crashing onto the platform below with a loud thud. Leo held onto a rusted pipe, hanging there with all his strength. Granny May had returned. She grabbed his arms and pulled him back up. "You brave fool," she whispered. "Come now." Together they escaped through the back door, the escape in the pouring rain. Sarah stood under a tree, baby in her arms. Her face lit up when she saw Leo running toward her. "You came back," she cried. Leo hugged her. "I told you I won't leave you." Granny May looked around. "We need to keep moving." They followed the train tracks, walking far into the darkness. Somewhere else, Victor Hale stood in his office, his face like stone. One of his men returned, soaked and limping. "We lost them, sir." Victor slammed his glass onto the table. "You lost a woman and a child. They had help. A street boy and an old woman. They know how to hide." Victor's voice was low and full of rage. "Double the reward." The man hesitated. "But sir, What if she tells the truth? Victor looked out the window. She won't, because if she does, he turned with cold eyes. Then they all die. The sun was rising. After a long, cold night, the train tracks were quiet. The rain had stopped. Drops hung from the leaves, shining in the morning light. Sarah, carrying her baby girl, walked slowly beside Leo and Granny May. They were tired, wet, hungry, but they were free, for now. Granny May pointed to a small house on a hill. A friend of mine lives there. She'll help us. We'll rest and plan what to do next. Sarah looked down at her baby, sleeping peacefully in her arms. We need to keep her safe. She doesn't deserve the life I had. Leo looked up. You didn't tell us, Is, what really happened. Who's the baby's father? Why did you run? Sarah stopped walking. She looked at the sky, then at Leo. You should know the truth, she said softly. The truth comes out. I wasn't just any woman. Victor met, Sarah began. I was his wife. Leo's eyes widened, but he didn't love me. He used me to look rich and kind in front of people. At home, he was cold, controlling. I was like a prisoner in a golden cage. Tears filled her eyes. When I got pregnant, he changed. He wanted to control the baby, too. He even said, if it wasn't a boy, he'd give it away. Leo gasped. That's evil. I had to run, she said. I ran in the night, with nothing. Just hoped that someone kind would help me. She looked at Leo with a warm smile. And I found you. Victor's plan in the city. Victor Hale sat in his black car, watching the posters being put up again. His face was cold. Find the baby, he ordered. She's mine, one of his men whispered. But sir, the media's asking questions. Some people think you're hiding something. Victor turned slowly. Tell them I want my wife back safely, a concerned husband, that's all. But, Victor leaned forward. Do your job, or disappear. Back in the hills, Granny May's friend welcomed them kindly. She gave Sarah clean clothes, food, and a warm bed. Sarah rested for hours while Granny May made soup. Leo stood at the high window, watching the road. Do you think he'll find us? Leo asked. Granny May nodded slowly. He'll try, but we have something stronger. What? She smiled. The truth. The fight for justice. Granny May had an idea. She called. A journalist she trusted. 2 hours later, a woman named Clara Jones with a camera and soft voice arrived. Sarah told her everything. She showed the bruises. She showed the baby's birth papers. She told the world how she escaped a rich, powerful man who wanted to control her and the child. The interview went viral. People around the city were shocked. They praised Sarah for her bravery. And then, something even bigger happened. The twisted old man, wearing a suit, came to the house. He knocked gently. Are you Sarah? He asked. She nodded slowly. I'm Mr. Albert, lawyer to Mr. Jonathan Hale, Victor's father. Sarah froze. Why are you here? Mr. Albert smiled kindly. Victor lied. He told us you died, but the truth is out now. And there's something you should know. He opened a brown envelope. Jonathan Hale has passed away. But before he died, he wrote a new will. He left his fortune, not to Victor, but to his future granddaughter. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. My baby? Mr. Albert nodded. Yes, your baby girl is now the legal heir to the Hale family's wealth, and you are her guardian. Leo jumped up. So that means Victor can't touch her now? Mr. Albert smiled. Exactly. The end. A new beginning. News spread fast. Victor Hale was arrested for lying, threatening witnesses, and trying to harm Sarah. Sarah got a house, protection, and a new life. But she didn't forget the boy who risked everything. One sunny afternoon, she held the baby in her arms and smiled at Leo. You're not a street boy anymore, she said. Leo looked down. But I don't belong anywhere. She touched his shoulder. Yes, you do. You belong with us. Granny May smiled. Her eyes wet. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's hearts.